Hey you guys, alright, welcome back to another Impact FX video. This video, guys, is going to be on mindset. It's kind of my first video that's not related to the specifics of trading, but it's a fundamental part of you being successful. And I talked to my group about this. It's not really something that we discuss on a regular basis, but we definitely have conversations throughout the week about these things that I mentioned to people. And I mentioned to people, for the most part, that the reality of trading, you guys, is a compounded effect on your life. It's not about getting rich on today. It's about taking it one step at a time. And today's trade, there's too many traders that will look at today's trade and they try to set up their entire week on one trade, versus what I tell people is, capture smaller wins, 1 to 3, 1 to 5s, per day, maybe 10 hour a day like I do. And those compound, that net effect over the course of a given year is absolutely incredible. And we're going to be touching on a couple things, guys, about the lack of in this industry. It seems like that people want to put the work in to find their edge or to actually understand their edge. And this is why the reality is that, you've heard this before, 90%, 95% of traders fail. And the reality and the reason that is the case is because 95% of traders don't want to put in the work personally and emotionally to understand their edge, understand why they tick, and what it is about themselves that gets them caught in a perpetual cycle of spinning and blowing accounts, or just this treadmill effect of always trying to find better and better things. Now, one thing I want to talk about quickly is I don't have a problem with this concept of people trying to refine or get better or search for new knowledge. There definitely is something to be said, you guys, about sticking to something. I 100% agree with that. That you need to give something a chance in terms of its ability to play out its edge, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. However, if I'm thinking about myself and my own personal journey, if I would have just stuck to the first thing that I got introduced to in trading, I personally don't think I would have been as successful as I am. The reality is that there are some things I believe in trading that will work, and there's some things that I believe personally won't work. Now, there are ways in which you can trade very, very simple strategies and be highly effective, like support and resistance, or there's people that do trade EMA bounces. But the reality is, in all those circumstances, that you have to fundamentally understand what your edge is. You have to practice that edge, and you have to have unbelievably good money management skills in order to do that. For me personally, none of those things resonated with me. I didn't find those types of systems to work. I wanted to find why the market moved. That was my why for trading. Like, there has to be a reason. And for me, supply and demand, market structure, just raw price action to me is what resonated for me, because there was no BS about it. There was no lack of understanding. There was no, I don't understand why this EMA works. You know what I mean? Like, it was all about just price. And so I went on a perpetual, my own journey to find that. And that's why I say that, I have no problem with people looking to refine, looking to get better. But the reality is, guys, if you don't know your edge, if you don't understand and you haven't put in the work to find your edge in the market, you're never actually going to know if what you are learning could fundamentally work if you put the practice in. And so let's go through just a very simple scenario quickly, guys, about edges. So if I were to say to you guys, you could be profitable like a casino, you all probably would say to me, man, that would be amazing. Like, casinos make millions of dollars a year. Like, trading is not like the casino in the edge perspective sense. And I would say that it is, because the reality is on average, a casino game has an edge of around 2.5%, and there's more obviously. Some higher, some are 5%, some are 10%. Blackjack's like 1.25% house edge. And the way they're able to make money, guys, is they understand that the longer, okay, this is key. The reason that this works is because casinos want you to sit at the tables longer. So their number one goal, you guys, is get you drunk so you play longer. And this is a key part to what people are missing about trading. They know that the longer someone sits at the table, which is in our terms trading, we call this a sample size or back-tested data, okay? That the longer that someone sits at the table, their edge will play out. So, if they have 100,000 people that are playing, there might only be 4,000 people that give the casino money. 4% of those people might actually lose all their money and the rest of them might make a little bit. But they know that over time, their 2.5, their 5%, their 6% edge will play out, which means that if they give out 100 grand and they make 104 back, they're constantly making money. They're not losing money. And this is something that is not the case with most traders. Most traders, you guys, for instance, in this scenario here, they would try a system out and they would take the first 4 trades, they would all be losses, and they'd say, screw it, I'm moving to the next system. Then they'd go to the next system and they'd say, oh, okay, cool. This next system went 50-50. Not bad, okay? And then they might, keep trading it and they take all these winners and they're like, this system is unbelievable. And then they go on 4 losing streaks in a row and people are now saying, oh, this system doesn't work. And they go and find a new one. But not a lot of traders, you guys, are sitting there and they are taking a sample size of 100, 200 trades over the course of a couple months to understand their edge in the market. And if you don't understand your edge, you're never going to have the confidence long term to be able to actually withstand the psychology of the losing streaks. And the losing streaks will come. But it's not necessarily about, in my case, the losing streaks that are just day after day after day after day after day. It could be I took 2 losses and then I got a winner and I netted 3R. Okay? It could be that, I had 4 weeks in a row and then I had 1 bad day and then I go for another 4 weeks in a row. As you get more consistent, your losing streaks will be different. It won't be about the trades. It will be about your profitable days or your weeks or your months or even your years. Okay? And these can start to then manifest themselves and you guys will be able to withstand the emotional swings because the emotional swings will not be so large. So let's look at typically like the life cycle of traders, okay? So a life cycle of a trader is when you started trading, you guys, obviously most people, it probably looks something like this. And it probably looked like the first trade you ever took was a winner. And you're like, holy crap, this is easy. I'm going to be the best trader in the world. And it might actually even resulted in straight up like this one going all the way over here. And you don't see another win for maybe the entire, I don't know, depending on the sample size of when these are, if these dots are weeks. But you might not even have seen another win for maybe a month. And then all of a sudden you have 2 more wins. Well, for most traders, that sets them on that journey. It sets them on that journey of, I got to find out what works. And then it goes into buying different courses or learning different things or reading baby pips and they're understanding, okay, this EMA or this butterfly pattern or what have you is the only way that charts make sense. And then they start to realize that it seems like a lot of traders at some point in their trading career get to a frustration point and they decide to just give real true price action a try. And for me, that's where I came in. Is I got to the point where I was like, none of this is like truly working. Sure, you can have streaks, but the confidence level or the mindset level for me was just never there in terms of I need to understand what price is doing. And that's where a lot of people then get latched onto smart money concepts and what have you. And that sets them now on this journey of true price action. And you start to see a bit more consistency, like you see in this second part that we're talking about, where you start to learn what price is doing. You actually learn about market structure. You understand that price makes, higher highs and higher lows and lower lows and lower highs. And then it probably gets a little still confusing from that point in time. Because then you have things like liquidity sweeps and fair value gaps and OBs and all this other stuff that starts to come to the table. But as you start to stick with it, you notice something. But the next point that I want to illustrate is as you start getting better and better, and as you actually make rules for yourself, and you have a proven process, and you actually put in the work to back test this data, situations like this, you guys, will not worry you. And if you think about this situation, you guys, in terms of an RR system, let's say that you were down 1 RR for each one of these dots. In this scenario, you guys, most people in this situation on the first part of this section, you guys here, would probably give up. If you didn't understand and you had no back-tested data, you didn't have a sample size of 100 trades, you didn't have any sort of knowledge about the system, other than you watched a YouTube video, you saw some guy on there talk about the system, and then boom, you started trading it, you took 4 losses in a row, I guarantee you most people would be like, oh, this system's stupid, that guy's an idiot. 1,000% of you would say that. But when you start to actually take a system and you break it down and you learn it, and you look at the RR, you look at the fundamentals of it, you look at how it actually plays out from a sample size perspective, you take more than 4 trades, you start to realize there's a pattern that emerges. And all of a sudden you were down 4%, and all of a sudden now, after 4% being up, you're up 2%. Then you're back to break even because you lost 2 trades. But then all of a sudden, guess what? The edge plays out. And you go on 3, 4 wins in a row. And you go up 3%, 6%, 9%, 11%. And then all of a sudden, boom, you take one last loss and you're up 10% maybe for that week. Well, if you had no ability to understand how that edge would play out, you wouldn't even have seen that profitability. You probably would have stopped at the 4 trades and then said, screw it, I'm going to try something else. And then you would have reset. You would have reset the entire life cycle of your trading journey all over again. And this is why people spend 4, 5, 6 years trading and not being profitable, because they fail to put that work in on a daily basis, backtest their system, test the system, and stick to the psychology and the rules of that proven process, and they are not biased about their entries. They don't lose 3 in a row and they say, oh man, I'm not going to take that next setup. They take that next setup because the next setup is proven. The next setup is the same as the other 3, but that edge might play out. And all of a sudden, all of those losses get disappeared and they get wiped out. And now you're profitable. And this is what I teach people in the group, and this is what I talk about in terms of your ability to trade your personal account or trade your funded account, is that if you don't have your back-tested data, you will literally never succeed. You will not understand how your edge plays out. And I don't even care if it's back-tested data, guys. It could be forward-tested data. Are you taking the system seriously? And are you putting in the work necessary to prove to yourself you can do it? Now, if you are taking a system and you're not trading the system correctly, then that's a different problem. That means you haven't done the job to learn it. Right? We need to be trading the system in a way in which it was intended. And that's why, for me, I put a lot of videos out on YouTube. I talk to you guys about how to do this. And that's why I launched a Discord group for people that just need more information, that I'm here to support those people and answer those questions. But the reality is, a lot of the stuff I've given on YouTube, guys, is more than sufficient for you to be profitable if you go and look at the charts and you coincide what I am saying on a daily basis. Not a one-time basis, not a two-time basis, but a daily basis. Over the course of months, you will see that the edge plays out. Now, something I want to talk about is the psychology of person A and person B in this scenario. Person A here, you guys, I guarantee you a lot of you will resonate with this. This is why most likely 95% of traders all fail. Imagine a daily scenario like this, or even a weekly scenario. You lost the first trade of the day. Your mindset all of a sudden goes to, oh shoot, I got to make that back. There's no patience. There's no, oh, I'll just wait for the next setup. Your immediate result is negative, and your immediate mindset is negative, and it says, I got to make that money back. So the first thing your mind wants to do is get into another trade. As a human being, you want to get into the trade, because getting into a trade, guys, is the easiest thing you can do about trading. Waiting for your setup to play out is the hardest part. So for person A here, they look for a quick setup. They don't follow the rules. They lose that next trade, and now they're pretty angry with themselves because they say to themselves, and this is what's funny, is that people know, you inherently know that you were impatient. You inherently know that you didn't follow your rules. But what starts to take place? You become emotionally unstable. You're annoyed. You're frustrated. You're more annoyed that you were wrong twice. And this is part of the human nature, is we don't want to be wrong. We don't want to tell ourselves, we don't want to look in the mirror and say, you did something wrong. There's no one else to blame with trading, guys, other than yourself. So when you take those wrong trades, you look in the mirror and you have to say to yourself, what did I do? Did I follow my rules? No. You need to stop. You need to immediately stop trading and go back to the system. Now, if you took that loss and you followed your rules, no big deal. That's okay. Because we can always back our emotional state based on the data that we have. But in person A's perspective, he becomes emotionally unstable. He doesn't like to be wrong. So what happens? He's out of his frustration that he's now got 2 losses in a row. He rallies off 3 more quick trades within 10 minutes. His account is now in such dire straits, you guys, that he doesn't even think it's recoverable. He knows he's effed up. He knows that he made a mistake. He knows that he did all the wrong things. But now that the account is, in his mind, unrecoverable, his mindset is, screw it. I'm just going to go for a Hail Mary trade and hopefully I get it all back. And I'll at that point, I'll reset. At that point, I promise that I'll do the right thing. What happens? Regardless of he wins, even if this trader were to win the next trade and make all that money back, I guarantee you that this cycle will repeat itself until that account is blown. Because this trader does not have the emotional stability. This trader does not have the rules. This trader does not have the back-tested or forward-tested data to keep him confident. So he is emotionally trading every day. There is nothing about the way this trader trades that's systematic, rule-based, etc. Because if it was, he would understand that taking a loss is not a problem. Even taking 2 losses, not a problem. None of that would matter to his emotional psyche, because he would look back on his trading statistics and he would say, well, I took 200 trades over the course of the month, and guess what? I was net 50 RR positive. So none of the losses mattered. And I guarantee you, there was losses. So now let's go through person B. And this person When they first started, they took the time to backtest the system that their mentor or the person that they watched on YouTube or whoever has it created. They took the time to backtest it. They took the time to learn it. They also then understood that their mentor or the YouTube guru or the course guru or what have you, their win rate is not going to be the same as their win rate. That person's win rate will be different than theirs. Everyone's win rate is unique to you. Why? Because you trade the charts. No matter if I give you a system or you learn a system or whatever, two people can learn the exact same system and they will trade it differently. That's just the way humans work. So this person understood that their win rate was 35% with a 1-to-5 RR risk to reward ratio. They also took the time to understand what setups they like to take and what setups they look for each day. So when this scenario plays out, you guys, they lose the first trade of the day. This person stays patient. It waits for that next setup. They take the next setup, but guess what? It loses still. They are down 2%, but they remain calm because they understand their edge. They understand that their long-term edge will play out. Just like the casino. The more they actually take the trades that meet their rules, the more likely long-term their edge will actually play out. They are not worried that the next trade could be a loss still. They are simply just going to trade the system. They take the next setup, you guys, and it goes 1-to-3, and then it hits break even. That's pretty frustrating. I've been there. That's pretty frustrating, but guess what? It's all good. Because they saw that during their backtesting. They saw that that scenario could indeed happen. So they understand that this is not the markets are out to get me. I'm going to lose. I'm not making any money. They're always calm. And then what happens? They take that next setup. It meets the rules. And that one wins. After the 2 losses, they hit a 1 winner. They hit 1-to-5. And they get a net RR, 3 RR profit on the day. They stop trading, they journal their trades, and they come back and rinse and repeat that process the next day. That is a systematic trader. That is someone who understands their edge. That is someone who is patient. They are not greedy. They trade the system and they let the edge play out over the course of a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, a year, 5 years, 10 years. They are not trading differently every day. They are not doing random things because nothing seems to work. You guys have to remain patient and you have to trade the system. So, in terms of mindset, you guys, you need to understand you will not become the trader you want to be tomorrow. You will become the trader you want to be through time, through dedication, through patience, through backtesting, through forward testing, through the ups and downs, through the losses, through the wins. The edge will play out if you have a system, you've tested the system, and you've seen the system work. All right, you guys. With that being said, I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you have a great week and smash the markets, and we'll see you on the next one.